A Singapore story. Roshin Dahim, Singapore. The sound of explosions was heard from every corner of our homes as they kept pounding our ears. Hail of bullets flew across the walls and landscape as people of various nationalities scattered all over to seek cover and safe refuge from the invading enemies. Homes were destroyed and families were displaced. Humanity in a country ran chaos. Defending soldiers were either killed or taken prisoners. That was Singapore under attack during the war and before the fall of our island back then. History reminds us of how life was under such traumatic conditions, especially in a conflicting war. Having witnessed a displacement of humanity with similar consequences today in various countries, imagine what it is like if we have placed with constant displacements in life. With that in mind, I share a story, a Singapore story from home to displacement and then back home. The beginning of Singapore's first settlements were established from AD 19 AD 1298 to AD 1299. Sang Nila Utama was a Srivijayan, Srivijayan prince from Palembang, Indonesia, and the founder of the Kingdom of Singapura in AD 1299, who noted the white sands of Temasek in the distance and sailed to visit the island. He decided to form a settlement in Temasek and named it Singapura. He died in 1347 and was buried at Fort Canning Park, Singapore, which still exists to this day. As time passes, changes on the island progressed to its modernity. I'm reading again. The beginning of Singapore's first settlements were established from AD 1298 to AD 1299. Sangnila Utama was Srivijayan Srivijayan prince from Palembang, Indonesia, and the founder of the Kingdom of Singapura in AD 1299, who noted the white sands of Temasek in the distance and sailed to visit the island. He decided to form a settlement in Temasek and named it Singapura. He died in 1347 and was buried at Fort Canning Park, Singapore, which still exists to this day. As time passes, changes on this island progress to its modernity. Home to modern Singapore started in the 19th century thanks to politics, trade, and a man known as Sir Stamford Raffles, who formally founded Singapore in 1819. After the war in 1945, since its independence in 1965 from Malaysia, Singapore's development success grew under the dynamic government headed by the late Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew and our first ever late President Yusuf Ishak. To this day, Singapore's momentum of success and stabilization continues under Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong through tourism, trading, business, culture, and the arts. Singaporeans, both old and new, have worked hand in hand to make our home, the little red dot, an economic power to be reckoned with in the world. Its ability to attract the best talents and use them to its competitive advantages has been the hallmark of this ever changing nation. Home to Singapore history is closely intertwined with immigration, as most of our forefathers are immigrants. It is the same today with the foreigners enticed to settle in Singapore by the strong governance, transparent work culture, equal job opportunities, safe environment, and cohesive social structure for which the city state is known. Singapore, as we see it today, is a grand success story. There's no doubt that it is blessed with visionary leaders under whose watchful eyes the country has remained agile, relevant, and robust. In today's world, no nation can survive without innovations, enterprise, and growth. As borders shrink and the world becomes increasingly connected, Singapore has shown how overseas talents can be harnessed for mutual benefit. Excerpt from Stories of Integration by Vandana Agarwal, 2022. Mr. S. Rajaratnam, one of Singapore's founding fathers, once said, Being Singaporean is a matter not of ancestry, but of choice and conviction. Singapore's racial harmony and cultural diversity are our strengths. These qualities allow us to remain cohesive while we seize new opportunities in the globalized environment by being a vibrant and innovative hub of investments, talents, and ideas. We cannot achieve this goal if our society becomes inward looking and xenophobic. Most importantly, it is not who we are as a people and it does not reflect the values we stand for. Home in Singapore is a special place for all, and we can be one united people regardless of race, language, or religion. In choosing Singapore to be a permanent home, one will not feel displaced as they bring with them a wealth of their personal history to enrich our lives with their culture and social contributions. Singapore and Singaporeans have always valued the talents that immigrants bring to Singapore. We are an immigrant nation that has built Singapore's unique identity over a few generations. In embracing the true Singapore spirit in our home, we continue to celebrate our cultural diversity, appreciate our differences, and respect our shared values as a bedrock of a harmonious and resilient society with their feeling displayed. People from wide range of cultures, ethnicities, and backgrounds call Singapore home. We cherish the diversity as a source of strength. People from wide range of cultures, ethnicities, and backgrounds call Singapore home. We cherish this diversity as a source of strength. Singapore has thrived economically and socially because of our collective resolve to integrate people from diverse backgrounds and make them a part of Singapore's story. People of all races and religions came together to form one Singapore. Astute socio-economic policies ensured all citizens a place under the Singapore sun. Negative stereotypes of immigrants like percussion instruments are often amplified in social media. Such discourse has become more frequent is a matter of concern. In recent times, this has added to xenophobic sentiments and aggravated racial tensions in Singapore. Today, we are together to diverse journeys and make Singapore our home. Individually, each has made tremendous advances in their respective fields, be it medicine, healthcare, academia, business, entrepreneurship, literature, or the arts. It adds a rich symphony to our home. The wealth of personal history enriches our lives, and with our culture and social contributions, we share a common national space, and with it, our common humanity for the good of all, a home to monitor any displacement that may create instability. On the impulses of art over the years, the artists like myself in Singapore and Paris, many others may have witnessed or listened to the ongoing news of war, riots, and destruction in various parts of the world. The disturbing consequences arising from such conflicts do affect the artist's perception of art. This in itself may cause displacement in our thoughts for the future. Ever since the COVID 19 pandemic hit the world in early 2020, and now with the economic recession and inflation worldwide, humanity in every walk of life, including artists, are witnessing some hardships and are desperate to come to terms with trying to sustain their daily income and expressing their feelings in an unpredictable situation. Singapore today, however, has kept vigilant in gaining back positive momentum among the public and supporting the art community as much as possible while checking on the pandemic and inflation throughout the nation. The art expedition is expected to head in a positive direction once the recession settles down. The arts community runs parallel with a mixture of ethnic culture and modernism. It embraces a handful of practitioners from the past and present. It is no surprise that Singapore's young artist talents from the academies are a diversified lot with style and medium that characterize the artist's perception of life from various resources in their upbringing. There are growing traces of modernism and abstract animations due to digital breakthrough in technology, through a few continue in their artistic vision of the historical landscape, river canals, monuments, and architecture that exists predominantly in Singapore. There are growing traces of modernism and abstract animations due to digital breakthroughs in technology, though a few continue in the artistic vision of the historical landscape, river canals, monuments, and architectures that exist predominantly in Singapore. With the continuous challenges in international art shows and exposures to various art museums and galleries, the art scene in Singapore is thriving at a moderate pace for now, but still gaining vibrancy and attention in the world of market. Singapore is my home. From home, I challenge myself in all avenues to bring my art to the world. Singapore is my home, and from home, I challenge myself in all avenues to bring my art to the world. এই আর্টিকেলটা আসলে এসেছে যার থেকে তিনি হচ্ছেন মিস্টার Rohisan Dahim from Singapore. He was himself was present in Dhaka for the 19th Asian Art Biennale, which is arranged by Bangladesh Shilpakala Academy and the Ministry of Culture in Bangladesh. In that session also related to home and displacement, Rashim Dahim has talked about these Singapore things, these displacement things, these immigration and other issues.